Hello drone racers, I'm Mark, and today on Drone Racer 101 we're going to take a look at the Topsky Prime 1S goggles. Now this is the S version and there's a sticker on there, see that? So apparently they're reusing the box. So besides the sticker, the thing that should be different about this box is it should look like that, because this doesn't come with antenna. The S version doesn't. We'll cover that here in a second. It actually comes in a pretty nice sturdy box, but we don't really care about that. So this is not really an unboxing. I put everything back in the box, but I've used it because I wanted to try it before I started talking about it. But inside the box we get an extra piece of foam, which is really light and I wouldn't expect to last too long. If you were sweating, we might have to replace that. An extra piece of double stick tape in order to use that. A pretty nice piece that held it in place when it came. A microfiber cloth for cleaning my daughter's glasses, because I'll never remember to keep it with this. A really cool USB cable. It's one of those single-sided USB cables, and it's micro USB on the other side, and it's red. And it's got a nice connector here, and we're gonna open it. There we go, not a connector, it's got a nice holder here, so you can actually keep this really clean and keep it nice, and I might use this for all kinds of stuff, whether I end up using these goggles or not. This is this the nicest part of the whole kit? I don't know, let's find out. So here are the goggles. They're not too heavy, they're a good size, they're recessed in here, but this piece, for the most part, as far as you can tell, doesn't really slide in and out. It looks like it should telescope like some of the other goggles that we've got right now, but it really doesn't. We have an SMA connector on each side. Unfortunately, it is SMA. We've got one on each side. We have shades that come on it that are removable. I'm not sure why. I think they're just here to look cool. Is this where you're supposed to use the microfiber connector on this in order to keep this looking nice? That does just snap on. On the top, we have a nice, well-arranged set of buttons. We have a search that I'll cover in a minute, band, channel, mode, DVR for playback, recording, camera, and power. On the bottom, we have IPD adjustments and diopter adjustments. This could be the reason these take the championship. I liked the EV100 goggles, and a lot of people didn't. A lot of people did. One of the big reasons was these diopters. I could use those without having to install diopters. My eyes aren't too bad. So will these work as well for that? I don't know. We'll find out. An AV in, so you can use it with a simulator. A power switch for the receiver, so you can turn that off if you're using them with a simulator. Headphone jack and a micro USB that is used for charging. It might be used for upgrades in the future, or I'm not sure on that. Under this door, there's a battery. It's a 2000 milliamp hour battery. I haven't worn it out yet, but that'll probably come more in further testing. The foam is held on with just double stick tape. It's not held on that great. So inside of here, besides my reflection, you can see there are two screens. Let me turn them on. So to turn them on, we'll hold down the power until it beeps. Actually, it beeps when you let go. So there they're on. And those are two independent screens. They're 640 by 480 screens, so they're 4x3 screens inside. So what you can do here is adjust the IPD for them, and it actually adjusts these lenses. The manual says the IPD is 58 to 72 millimeter, which is a pretty good range, and I instinctively push them all the way toward the center because I have a pretty narrow IPD, but these are actually too narrow for me. I have to move these about to the middle. Whether their measurement is just different or what exactly it is, if I have mine, all my other goggles, every other set of goggles are pushed all the way to the center. These, I have to put them out about halfway. So if you use these, don't just put them there and leave them there and say these aren't any good. Move them around and they might look better for you. So besides that, we have the diopters, and you roll them together. So this will adjust, and you can't really see what it's doing here, but you will roll them in and out and see if we can roll it enough in order to get focus here. So there, it's out of focus, and if I adjust these, will it change enough so you can see it and the camera will focus on it? No, and that's kind of been my experience too. The diopters just aren't outstanding on this. The adjustments for them don't seem to make that much of a difference to me. Once I get it lined up with my eyes and I use the diopters, it's just, usually when you put in diopters, it's night and day, and it kind of clears things up a little bit, but it just doesn't make a huge difference for me. Not the way I would like. And that's been my overall impression flying them. It just doesn't look as good as I want it to. One thing I didn't mention is these do have a built-in DVR, and the card slot is right there for better or worse, and you put it in upside down, which feels a little weird, but that's how it goes. By upside down, I mean the name of the card is facing down when you slide it in here, and then it will pop into place. And you shouldn't do that with the power on. I'm actually going to turn them back off and turn them back on. There we go. There's actually a pretty good view of the screen. We can see there's no DVR in there. I'm going to go ahead and turn on a drone so you can see the picture. So this is my US 65 drone. It actually it looks like a pretty good picture, but I'll say I can see the pixels more than I would like. I can see what they look like. But overall, it's pretty clear. It's a lot better than others that I've used before. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the picture. So here I have switched to, well, what's an illegal band here, but it doesn't matter. Now I'm going to do a search so you can see how that works. So there it'll go through and it'll search, and you can watch it search, and it's pretty quick. And it'll go and look at, see where it thinks it's locked on, and kind of keep going, which I appreciate. It'll go through the whole scenario, the whole band and channels, and then it will pick one to lock in on. So there it did, and it locked on the right one. And I've tested this a couple different times on a couple different channels, and it's gotten the right one every single time. So the scanner in this seems to be really good. I'm really happy with that. It's fast, and it works really well. So in order to record, you push the record button. And it's pretty simple. You don't have to hold it down forever. You just push record, and it shows you on the screen, nice and up out of the way, that it's recording. And then to stop recording, you just click it again. So it does a good job there. I'm really happy with how the recorder works. I've watched the footage back a little bit, and it looked just fine. It looked pretty good. I haven't done a full audio sync. I guess we'll find that out at the end on how it does. So what this video is not is a shootout with the EV800D. Here you can see size comparison. This is one where they're going to win over a lot of people. Size-wise, they're bigger than the EV100s. They're a lot smaller than the EV800s, unless you do this. They're about the same size as that portion. They also, though, didn't come with any antennas, and the EV800 did, which I find these antennas to be pretty good. In this case, I'm going to use some real ACC antennas. I would recommend the mini version of this if you use it, because it comes with the adapter in case you ever need it, and it comes with the terminator, and then just a standard pagoda antenna. So let's do some flights around the basement because it's cold outside and I don't want to go out there. I did find the first time I connected these antennas, it was really stiff. I had to really force the connector in there. But now that I've got it on there, I would probably just leave these connected pretty much all the time. I've not opened this up to see what level of true diversity or not this is. We'll save that also for a shootout. But for now, let's see what it looks like actually flying around, because whether it's true diversity or not, or what the components are, what really matters is the reception. And I've flown enough around my basement to have a good idea on what that's going to look like. Okay, so let's do a test flight and see how it goes. This room's dark because my son is busy playing Fortnite, so we'll see how it does in the dark. Then we'll go through the rest of the house. So I can see, I've got good control, I've got good visibility, very little breakup. A lot of times over there, I will have quite a bit of breakup with goggles, so I can say I'm pretty impressed by the signal quality. I'm also pretty impressed by this drone, the US 65. Man, this thing is nice. I am super impressed with this. I've told people they should get this if they have $300 along with some other goggles or some EV800s and an X-Lite, and that might still be the case. So in the dark, I can see the camera does pretty good. We can go see, what do we have here? Fortnite going on. Ignore the battery warning. Yeah, we got a little Fortnite action going on. Oh, I almost hit a light. But yeah, the visibility, the reception in this area, in a congested area with lots of stuff going on and a lot of stuff in the way, is really, really good. The picture quality is okay. I mean, it's certainly acceptable, and I would say this is not an EV800 comparison, even though it is. It'd be easier to wear these on my eyes longer because they are a lot lighter. But yeah, the quality comparison we will save. But oh, like I said, the drone, super impressed with. Except for the voltage readout on the battery. That doesn't seem, if it is accurate, it pulls a lot, but it still flies just fine with very low voltage. Might be hard on the batteries, but that's why they give you 3 of them. So we'll see what the DVR footage looks like. Man. Whoa! There we go, not about the goggles, but the battery still says 3.7, so I don't know if the meter on mine is just wrong or it pulls it down really a lot. It's barely warm though, so I think it's fine. But this review is about the goggles, and I'm gonna say they seem to do a pretty good job. They are a very happy medium between the EV100s and EV800Ds, which this is not a review and a comparison. I also reviewed the SJ something goggles that had really good reception, but were just terrible screens. And these screens are way, way better than those. Way, way, way better than those. But not the absolute best. So I think, based off of just a couple of flights, that was actually like the 6th flight I've had with these, I think they're gonna be a pretty good option, as long as you have pretty good eyesight. I don't have good eyesight. This diopter option, to me, just barely does anything. It just doesn't make enough of a difference unless I'm doing something totally wrong and like turning them sideways or crooked or something. So there we go. I managed to find a setting that was pretty good for my eyes. In this case, I have the IPDs all the way out and then adjusted them one eye at a time, which it says not to do, but I kind of adjusted it with one eye, then moved the other one and got it where my prescription is pretty close on my 2 eyes, but it's not quite the same. I managed to find a setting that I'm happy with. It's not perfect, but I'm happy with it. I could fly with it for a longer basis. You have to be able to do, because there's no other options. There's no other lenses you're gonna put on here. You're not gonna get third-party diopters for this, probably. I don't think so. If you did, they'd be really expensive because the lenses are so big. It does look like these could pop off though, and you could replace them. That might be interesting. Now that we have some DVR footage, it's actually really easy to access. You don't have to turn off the RX, which is kind of nice. Just click and hold down the DVR button. It'll beep at you. There we go, it's focused. And you can go sideways to pick the one you want, and then you pull down in order to start playing. Don't click the button. That will actually give you an error, but if you click down, then it will play, and you can push sideways to skip between the files. There's my file where I just flew that you saw a few minutes ago, and then push up or away from your face in order to move back up, and that goes back up to the menu and then goes back up to flight. So the DVR is very, very easy to use. Overall, I'm gonna say for the most part, I'm pretty impressed. Are they going to become my #1 recommendation for $100 goggles? Well, stay tuned for that. But if you get them, if you say, okay, well, I know I want these because of the size versus the other options, yeah, I think you're gonna be okay. I haven't used them long enough. That's as far as I'm willing to go at the moment. I think you'll be okay. So if you found this useful, leave a like and a comment down below. What do you want to see in the $100 goggle shootout? What should we include? These, the EV800s, the EV100s, the VRD3s, I think are a $50 option. I don't think they're $100, so I'll double check that. And then anything I missed on the $300 shootout, which if you haven't seen, there's a link up here in the corner for, make sure you watch that. I plan on doing a similar thing for each price range that I can afford. I'm glad there's no comparison with the HDOs because I couldn't afford all of those. So until next time, remember, now I just need to go get this edited and go play Fortnite with my son.